Okay, I hope you enjoyed your lunch. Welcome back. So we heard this morning a little bit about decarbonization and what it's all about, how it's affecting the industry. We now have a presentation. Our speaker, Daejin Lee, Global Head of Research, FertiStream Freight. Daejin is going to give us a presentation entitled Navigating the Volatile Path to Maritime Carbonization, a Shipbuilding Investment in Perspective. Daejin, please.
Hello, thank you for inviting me for this prestigious event, Kevin again. My name is Daejin Lee. I was director in S&P Global before, so I was tracking decarbonization over the last 6 years. And then I'm now working for FertiStream, which is a global fertilizer trader as well as a freight provider. So one thing important for you is that I will give you just the answer. Whatever you ask in question today, especially which fuel we want to use, nobody knows. And then the other one, which sector you're going to invest in. Right, that is my presentation today. So again, I have been working for shipping analytics for many years. And then before that, if you know about this company name, you have been here for many years. I was in Hanjin Shipping in Korea, and that's why I'm here. So something happened 8 years ago, and then I become joining the information provider. And then basically I was doing, like I say, S&P, which is a sales and purchase and new building and demolition I have done in previous companies. But something important for us today, how, where, when to invest. And then that is heavily linking to what we call decarbonization. Currently, I put the 2023 as a kind of starting point, as a 1,000, and then seeing what's going on before and then now. And something interesting, right? Gas is very attractive. You can see a spike on 2022. And again, tanker and dry cargo. And when you look in dry cargo, from cargo perspective, as a fertilizer perspective, bulker container is the same. It's just carrying dry cargo. It's very different. Even air, the same. Because we want urgent cargo, we will use air, basically. So it's a quite different perspective, because I want to show you some kind of concept that even though you are working for offshore or tanker, freight, or maybe even shipbuilding, it all linked together. And then over the last 6 or 7 years, while I was working in S&P Global, and we actually have some kind of group working together with the automobile, flight, airline, and then trucking, and then railway, and shipping together. So when you look into same together, then you will have a very clear idea there is lack of supply of, decarbonization element like alternative fuel. So lack. Why? There are no incentive to build it. So what we have now is incentive build ships for tanker, dry, gas. All of them have an incentive to build, but not really have a motivation to build expensive fleet with alternative fuel. So that's why we're going to talk about it. And then something important, we need to talk about two major, regulation, which is EU ETS as well as the CII. I do not want to talk about EU ETS much because, again, there are not much incentive or motivation. Now CO2 cost is around 60 euro, 65 euro. It used to be 90 euro, basically. So you can see it drop. And again, it's not linking to shipping. It's linking to another industry because the European steel market, fertilizer, chemical, all using LPG or LNG or whatever gas and coal, they are not really using it because of the lack of economic demand, right? That's why you can see price is dropping. And then now, not many people talk about it, actually. Whoever talk about it is not really because of commercial incentive, it's because of regulatory. I was seeing earlier presentation, very interesting comment. Shipping or shipbuilding is not really linking to decision by media or kind of mass media or maybe people's pressure. It's all depending on motivation of a commercial. Is it good for money or not? Right? So we need to be very frank. At this point, EU ETS does not work well, but we believe it will going to be very good starting point. for next 5 years, 10 years. The problem is whenever you see any projection, zero for starting point is 2025, it's zero interest in building kind of massive amount of fuel. There are interest in the kind of fuel for alternative fuel for shipbuilding, but unfortunately there are not much interest in terms of building new fuel. That's why you are hearing news as an alternative fuel supplier. If it is common, it will not be a news, but it's news because it's so uncommon, right? And then something important one is that I want to talk about this is very good for ship owners. CII is actually, I was underestimating the impact, but actually it's very massive impact. What happened is that whenever you see the CII, I put the example that I just analyzing based on EU MRV data, which is not really cover Capesize, so that's why I just excluding it. But Panamax super handy, when you do the exactly same concept into next few years, almost 40 to 50% is not compliant for CII. You need to do something. And then this is important for now, or you are still not yet seeing much kind of in the paper, but in chartering manager, they all seeing reduced speed in the CP speed. So charter party speed is not anymore 14 knots or 15 knots, but they are now read down because they want to maintain their rating at least at sea. So something important one is that's why you can see the right-hand side, it's not really linking to bunker price. It's not really linking to commercial decision. It's now linking to regulation, right? So that's why when we see come into 2025 and 6, 7, CII will become much, much stricter, and then you may need to put the charter party speed much lower. Otherwise, you cannot make it. So that's why it's important what kind of ships will be difficult to comply all those regulations. So that's why it's also linking to your investment decision. So basically, we call age profile, right? And then we also talk about this a lot. But currently, there are very much limited candidates for scrap. And that is my stance over the last 3 years. We do not believe in massive scrap as long as freight remain high. Currently, all ship is profitable. Why they want to scrap it, right? So that's why I saw that many research groups say, oh, there will be much higher scrap next few years. It's bullshit. Why? It's profitable. Why you want to scrap it, right? And there are no scrap, actually, a very limited scrap. And then there are also another factor that, LC or maybe whatever happened in Bangladesh and India also play a role. But major one is you're profitable, and you expecting it to be profitable because there are not much new building in the order book for many ship sites, except container. But that's why there are very big argument of the many, container research group talking about there will be massive scrap for container because there are quite many new building coming in. What happened? There are not much scrap. Why? Still profitable, right? So that's why when you do not see any downturn of the freight, you will not see any massive scrap. And that's why you will see because we are here in terms of, Gulf area, we need to see detail in the tanker sector. So something important was that we need to distinguish oil tanker and product tanker because it's totally different idea of the market. But something interesting for all of them is basically lack of order book. That is a basic starting point. Why it is that? Because container taking all the shipyard, and there's also LNG, LPG ships already taking it. Why? Because we are sitting in the now ship finance forum, you asking the ship management, maybe they want to build it, but if you're asking ship finance provider, you need to explain your decarbonization plan for dry and tanker. You're basically using fossil fuel carrier. Can you get enough finance from bank side? Difficult. On the other hand, when you talk about LNG, LPG, or maybe decarbonization, high prices of fleet, you can get easily. That's why you are seeing a lot of vessels in the shipyard because you are seeing much higher value the price as well as easier finance, right? So that's why it's very good for ship owners or investor for dry and tanker because you are not really getting finance availability, means you will be expecting very low delivery in next couple of years. I answered your question already. And then now it's here, right? You can see container, car carrier, LNG, LPG, they have a massive order book ratio. You can see, and tanker dry is still less than 10% fleet. If you're expecting 3 to 5 years they are building it, that means you will have a 2 or 3% growth next couple years, even excluding deletion, scrapping, right? So this is important for us. And then even many people talk about, oh, there are massive investment of renewable. Is it really true? And then I see the news headline say, oh, 30% of dry bulk fleet is now ammonia or something. But we need to say very clearly, it's not ammonia, it's ammonia dual fuel, or ammonia ready vessel, or methanol ready vessel, right? So there are Newcastle Marks building ammonia bases, right? 2027 or 2006. So small, you can see that, the chart, right? Alternative fuel, can you see that? Right? Even you have 100% order book as ammonia, it does not change anything about the existing dry bulk fleet dynamic. Even container is actually quite many, and you see that over the last few years, because they have an incentive to comply EU ETS and CI, as well as their customer is very big guys, right, who want to be comply with the ESG strategy, but still very long way. So we can put it this way, at least this decade, until 2030, we do not see any major change, basically. And then you can see crude tanker, float tanker. What happened? It's negligible. If you just blink a little bit, then you cannot see that, basically, right? So that's why, again, I answer your question. If you are trying to building fleet, right, for next couple of years, you need to build ships without accessible or easy accessible to finance. Then you will have a less competition, basically. And then that's something I have a kind of experience in 2010. You remember 2007-8 was so good, and then 2010 banker remember that time, and then 2009 briefly market collapsed, right? And then 2010 is briefly come back. Bank come to your ship owner's house, and then we will lend you money. Please build the ships, right? So if you now need to go to bank and then explain so many things, providing so many documents, means it's a very good time to invest. They are not reluctant to lend you money. That's best timing. And then when you see that you don't need any argument, or you don't need anything, just building it, that's very bad moment of the investment. And then this is important, even we are talking about it. I want to very briefly, but even in that sense, dry bulk tanker may be a very good position and container as well. But this is actually, it's not 20 years factor in terms of Panama Canal or Suez Canal. It's actually, we don't know actually how long. Sometimes people say it's maybe weather problem and then maybe continuously weather problem, maybe 5 years, 10 years for Panama Canal. Very difficult to say, but let's say if it is gone, Panama Canal return to normal. Do you expecting this price of the ship remain? This is very big question. Now Panama Canal traffic is down 50%, but mostly for tanker and then dry bulk. Containers have a priority, so they don't have any issue of Panama Canal. On the other hand, you can see Panama Canal issue for dry and tanker is massive. And then also you can see here, I put this is I think PPT, and then you can see initially they using Suez Canal instead of Panama Canal, as you know, many of vessels, but now they cannot use the Suez Canal as well. They need to go diverting it. So it's basically massive factor, more than you think. And then at the point, we are seeing the Suez Canal issue, right? Yesterday, I think Houthi say you need to get a permission to move it now. But we don't know what goes to be next one. And then there are also major downside risk, maybe there are some peace deal between Israel and Hamas. Could be possible. It's something unpredictable things going on. But what we know is that we do not expect that this continues 5 years' time, 10 years' time, which is relevant to shipbuilding investment. So that's why when you look into current level, Redis issue, it's actually fact is traffic is very stable now. But traffic for tanker dry is very stable. It's fact. But on the other hand, containers not really come back. Maybe deliberately or what, right? We don't know. But actually, the fact is containers are not really come back in a near future. Maybe some ship owners may do that, but still likely to continue. Means container freight may continue to be good, not really bad, right? And then on the other hand, you can see the Red Sea disruption. You see that many of vessels now down compared to pre-crisis or Red Sea crisis. But obviously, we all know many vessels already diverting to Cape of Good Hope. But what it means in days term and actual efficiency term, it's a 30% more vessel you need. That's why market is good, right? And then something important is that this is not really long-term factor. Just remember, 2020, 21, 22, pandemic happened. There are massive congestion, and all the shipping fleet has a massive profit. At that point, I was hearing many people say, I was quite very, I think I talked about it at that point, that I expecting market will drop once congestion is gone, which is, we all know, short-term factor. But at that point, when I spoke to many guys, oh, it's because of the international commercial, online commercial is still strong, it will not come back. It will come back to normal once Red Sea issue gone. But we don't know at all. Next month, next few months, we don't know. But what we know is it will not continue next 5 years. Something you need to consider it. So that's why I want to finish it with this final slide. I tried to do that, but it's not moving. But okay, so when you do that, in my final slide, I just want to say is that currently demand is boosted by two short-term factors, which is Panama Canal as well as Suez Canal issue, which is Red Sea issue. But on the other hand, what we know is that fleet supply is so low, and we do not believe there will be accessibility of ship finance for fossil fuel-related sector. But we will need that at least next 10 years or 15 years. And we do not believe any supply of renewable energy in the short term. And then we do not see any commercially viable factor for hydrogen or whatever. So unfortunately, my final point is that one of the factors I heard today, very surprisingly, what is that? The biofuel. Biofuel is not in the, how can I say, concept. Why? Biofuel is mostly go to aviation. It's basically aviation, sustainable aviation fuel is for biofuel. But on the other hand, the shipping, you need a massive amount of biofuel to be produced. Also, you need to compete with car, right? So biofuel will be very expensive if you rely on it. So you need to think about it, actually. Anyway, I cannot change the next page. Okay, I have calculated, how can I say, how much percentage change. But obviously, you see that currently, why tanker and dry bulk is passing Red Sea quite comfortably. But there are still quite many vessels are diverting it. So we see that much better supply-demand balance, but container is massive because all the vessels is diverting it. And then we believe this is short-term factor, at least. And then you can see the market balance, container getting better because of this issue rather than fundamental change. But dry bulk is actually quite well balanced in the next couple of years. And I didn't put tanker because tanker, you need to consider dark fleet and then so many things. But what we know is that supply will be so low and that we do not believe a massive supply coming in the next couple of years because of lack of availability of ship finance. That's what I prepare. Thank you very much.